سلام به همگی دوستان، امیدوارم حالتون خوب باشه. به برنامه نان گل و سرخ خوش اومدید. من مریم نمازی ام.
من فريبرز پويا هستم. در برنامه این هفته مصاحبه‌ای داریم با گريلينگ در رابطه با خروج بریتانیا از اتحادیه اروپا و چرا این تصمیم یک فاجعه است برای این کشور.
در ضمن در رابطه با تحقیقات در رابطه با دادگاه شریعت صحبت میکنیم و چرا این دادگاه ها باید ملغاشن و در ضمن به یاد باقر نمازی که 80مین سالگرد تولدشو در زندان اوین ایران داره به سر میبره بعد از 10 سال محکومیت به زندان.
فتوای احمقانه هفته در رابطه با شلواری که اسلامیا طراحی کردن که جلوی عورت زنان رو موقع وضع هم بگیره. لحظه زیبای زندگی، آواز یک خانم در مسجدی در شیراز.
با ما باشید، جایی نرید.
I have two questions for you, Mr. Nmazí. One is, the first one is just a yes or no. You talk about parallel legal system. Is it right that any decision made by any Sharia council, is it legally binding in this country according to the law of this land? Yes or no?
Well, it doesn't matter if it's legally binding
I'm just asking for a yes or no
answer. There
answer.
is no yes or no.
But there is. It's not legally binding.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, can I just move on to my next one?
It doesn't matter if it's not legally binding because for the women, and especially the vulnerable women who go to
it's not a parallel legal system then, is it?
It is because the law of God is the most... You know, it can be the most frightening thing to disobey the rule of God. And when you go to a court of God and where they say that the rules are divine, and if you don't abide by these rules, you can go to hell, you're committing zina, you're committing apostasy.
Mr. Nmazí, according to your blog, which I read earlier, dangerous and difficult. According to a blog that I read earlier, this isn't just about Sharia courts. If we were to look at your implementation of the view of the world, we wouldn't have any. The majority of the discrimination would be faced by the 33 million Christians in this country, because you'd have a way with Christianity, you'd have a way with, and this is according to your blog, with any religious institution.
This is not about, no.
But it is, isn't it? Because what you're saying is you're denying everybody's religious human rights.
People have a right to religion or not having a religion. However, it doesn't mean because you're a Christian you need to go to an ecclesiastic court for your divorce. If you're Jewish you have to go to the Beth Din. If you're Muslim you have to go to the Sharia court. If you're Hindu you have to go to some Hindutva court. The point is that we are first and foremost citizens in this country. There are rights that have been fought for over centuries for women. Equal, where they have equal rights, where their testimony is not worth half that of a man's, where men don't have unilateral rights to divorce, where women have to go through a million loopholes to get their basic right, where domestic violence by some of the Sharia judges is considered fine, where the judge will ask the woman, well, did you ask him why he beats you? Is it because you didn't cook dinner, or is it because you're going out with your friends? Where you have a Sharia judge saying that marital rape is not a crime, it's not an act of aggression. Calling it rape is the act of aggression. In this situation, clearly there's a problem. So it's not an attack on the right of religion. Okay. So please don't make it such.
I agree.
ویدیو کلیپی که الان مشاهده کردین از چند وقت پیش بود که من شهادت دادم در پارلمان انگلیس در رابطه با دادگاه شریعت در این کشور و خب اون یکی از اعضای پارلمان انگلیسه که میگفت که خب این تبعیض علیه مسیحیان مسلمان‌ها به خاطر اینکه عملا فقط به خاطر اینکه من آتیستم و بیخودم و این دقیقاً جالب اینجاست که اتفاقا آتیستا سکولاریستان که هر روز کشته میشن از سوی جنبش اسلامی سیاسی ولی تا میای ازشون انتقاد میکنی یهویی تو میشی مجرم.
جالبه،
خیلی جالبه.
مذهب که منبع در واقع تبعیض علیه مردمه، منبع از بین بردن حقوق مردمه، به چیزی تبدیل میشه که مثل همه دنیا طلبکارم هست.
دقیقاً.
و خیلی جالبه، این بخشی از سیاست جریانات اسلامیه و در واقع این هنر دروغگویی، هنر این که وارانه نشون دادن حقیقت، این چیزیه که تبدیل کردن واقعا به یه دستاورد برای خودشون که و بتونن از این استفاده کنن و منافع خودشون رو پیش برن. همیشه تو حکومت هم باشن میگن تقصیر مردم آخرش. تو ایران نگاه میکنیم میبینیم این جناح با اون جناح، بخش قوه مجری جامعه میگه که این هیچ به عنوان کسی تو جامعه ظاهر میشه که مثل که مردمش بدهکارن یا سعی میکنن کسای دیگر رو یا کشورهای دیگر رو چیز بکنن.
و یه کار جالبی که تو انگلیس کردن اینه که دادگاه شرعیه که برای کنترل زنانه به خصوص در بخش خانواده حداقل، و وقتی که نگاه میکنیم این یک پروژه اسلامی است برای کنترل زنان و بدنشون، اینو به عنوان یه چیز که طرفدار حق زنه دارن جلوه میدن. یعنی دارن میگن که اگر دادگاه شرعیه رو ببندین خشونت علیه زنان افزایش پیدا میکنه. یعنی چیزی که باعث خشونت زنانه اگر ببندیش خشونت زیادتر میشه.
دنیای وارانه،
واقعا دنیای وارانه.
تعریف اسلامی یعنی بیان اسلامی ها از واقعیت کاملا برعکسه و این یکی از جاهایی به نظر یکی از موضوعاییه که همه جوامع باید در برابرش کاملا هوشیار باشن و آگاه باشن که نمیشه یک سازمان و یک بنیادی رو مثل مذهب خیلی هم وسیعه که هر روز داره نقض حقوق بشر میکنه، نقض حقوق زنان رو میکنه، نقض تمام نهاد جامعه رو میکنه، بیاد خودش رو به عنوان کسی که ظلم بهش شده نمایان بکنه. و این کاریه که اسلامی دارن میکنن و پروژه دادگاه‌های شرعیه توی بریتانیا تحت پوشش این روش کار داره پیش میره و هر وقت که کسی سوال میکنه و انتقاد میکنه بهش، زیاد میگن که ما اسلام این وسط بهش ظلم شده،
میگن اسلاموفوبی یا اسلام هراسی. و خب این یه چیزیه که دقیقاً ناشام در رابطه من گفت که به خیلی واضح توضیح دادم که این اتفاقا ربطی به تبعیض علیه مردم مسلمان نیست. انتقاد از مذهب یک حق مهمیه و در ضمن انتقاد از اسلام سیاسی حمله به مردم مسلمان نیست. اتفاقا خیلی از مردم من جمله مردم مسلمان دارن زیر این جنبش سیاه دارن واقعا کشته میشن، هر روز نمیتونن نفس بکشن.
دقیقاً. و یکی از در واقع کیسایی و پرونده هایی رو که این برنامه در موردش صحبت کرده، پرونده باقر نمازی و سیامک نمازیه، کسایی که بیگناهن، در زندانن و جمهوری اسلامی اینا رو به عنوان گروگان گرفته، هیچ جرمی رو مرتکب نشدن.
دقیقاً. و چیزی که هست الان اخیراً باقر نمازی تولد 80مین سالگردش رو در زندان اوین به سر برد و واقعاً آدم فکر میکنه که یک مرد 80 ساله رو به 10 سال محکوم به زندان کردن به خاطر هیچی، به خاطر اینکه هیچ جرمی محسوب نشده. گفتن که رابطه داره با دولت آمریکا و غیره، به خاطر اینکه شهروند دو ملیتی هستن.
دقیقاً. جمهوری اسلامی تلاش میکنه که این شهروندهای دو ملیتی رو تحت واقع بگیره، به عنوان گروگان بگیره و باشون معامله بکنه. هر وقت هر کسی گرفتن و آزاد کردن پول گرفتن و واقعاً این مثل گروگانگیری رسمی دولتیه و مردم دنیا باید بخوان که اینها باقر نمازی و تمام زندانیان سیاسی تو ایران که بی جرم هیچ گناهی رو مرتکب نشدن یا از حقوق مردم دفاع کردن یا بر علیه تبعیض صحبت کردن، دستگیرشون میکنن.
که باقر نمازی هم واقعا یکی از این افرادیه که واقعا زندگیشو داده برای اینکه از کسایی که از بچه‌های فقیر دفاع کنه. یعنی سالها نماینده یونیسف بوده در کشورهای مثل مصر و سومالیا و کنیا، در خود ایران کلی فعالیت کرده علیه فقر. و واقعا وقتی نگاه میکنیم بهترین های آدم ها توی زندانهای جمهوری اسلامی هستن و بدتریناشون دارن حکومت میکنن. واقعا غیر قابل تحمله.
چند روز پیش با ایسی گريلينگ مصاحبه داشتم در رابطه با خروج بریتانیا از اتحادیه اروپا و نکات جالبی رو مطرح میکرد. یکی از نکاتی رو که مطرح میکنه در رابطه با اینه که رفرندوم معمولاً و همه پرسی برای موضوعایی مثل اون موضوعایی که اساسنامه جامعه رو عوض میکنه مناسب نیست. منو یاد دوران بعد از قیام تو ایران میندازه که جمهوری اسلامی اومد گفت که جمهوری اسلامی رو میخوان یا حکومت شاه رو میخوان. یعنی خیلی اینطوری بدونی که جامعه وقت داشته باشه فکر بکنه، نظر بده، آلترناتیوهای مختلف رو در موردش فکر بکنه. اون تنها آلترناتیوی نبود که تو جامعه بود و میگه که این مناسب نیست برای این کار. این فرق میکنه با انتخابات معمولی که مثلا یکی رو انتخاب میکنی بعد یه سال 2 سال میتونی طرفو انتخاب نکنی. این که جامعه رو عوض میکنه، شکل جامعه رو عوض میکنه، نوع کار دیگر رو لازم داره، نوع بررسی لازم داره و بررسی عمیق‌تری لازم داره.
و به خصوص وقتی نگاه میکنیم که کل این سیاست گذاری حول این مسئله پر از دروغ بود. یعنی اینکه حالا از اروپا میریم بیرون، کل پول میره به بهداشت کشور و غیره و روز بعدش گفتن که نه قرار نیست چنین کاری بشه. یعنی دقیقاً با دروغ و کلاً پاپوش‌دوزی تونستن این نوع رأی رو به دست بیارن و واقعیتش اینه که تعداد خیلی کمی رأی دادن وقتی نگاه میکنیم به کل کسایی که اجازه رأی داشتن.
دقیقاً. یه نکته دیگه هم که مثلا مهمه در رابطه با این قضیه خروج بریتانیا از اتحادیه اروپا در موردش صحبت بکنیم اینه که این یک حمله سازمان یافته از جانب راست جامعه است بر بنیادهای حقوقی جامعه. این رو میشه در کشورهای مختلف دید. نتیجهش اینه که سعی میکنن که امکانات رو کمتر بکنن. میبینین که سیستم بهداشت و آموزش پرورش همین الان دارن صحبت از این میکنن که کم بکنن. مثلا اینکه خب اگه ما بیایم بیرون خرج بیشتره، شروع میکنن 10 ساله که بحران اقتصادی رو کش دادن که از حق امکانات مردم رسیدن. در واقع در ادامه این خروج از بریتانیا میخوان این سیاست رو ادامه بدن. این یک حمله دست راستی سازمان یافته است و جامعه باید بر علیه این سازمان پیدا کنه و مقاومت بکنه و این نکاتیه که ایسی گريلينگ درش مصاحبهش میگه. با هم این مصاحبه رو ببینیم.
AC Grayling, welcome back to Bread and Roses program.
It's always a great pleasure to be on it.
Thank you. We wanted to discuss Brexit with you. You have worked really hard on the campaign against Brexit, and since the June referendum you have advocated the madness needs to stop. What's wrong in your view of people making decision and taking the country in different direction?
Well, there's nothing wrong with people being involved in the democratic process. But the democratic process is not well served by referendums, where a very, very complex issue with major constitutional implications is being decided on a very, very simple question, a yes-no answer, in-out answer, and which also was so badly framed, the referendum question and the referendum itself, that it was announced to be advisory, not binding on the government. It therefore didn't specify a supermajority, which is what you need if you're going to have a major constitutionally changing referendum. And even though the turnout was quite high, 72%, the result actually only represents about 37% of the total electorate of the country and only about 26% of the population. So on these grounds, there is no mandate for taking the UK out of the EU, which is a huge decision, very, very, very consequential. And this is not something for a referendum. There shouldn't have been a referendum. We have a representative democracy where we send people to Parliament to get informed, to look at the facts, to think about things, to make decisions. If they don't do a good job, we can get rid of them at the next election, but we send them there as our representatives, not as our messenger boys and girls, but to go and do a job for us. And the great majority of people in Parliament, both in the House of Commons and in the House of Lords, recognise that membership of the EU is in the UK's interests. It should have been a parliamentary decision only.
Okay, but what's your objection to Brexit as such? As leaving European Union, what's your core objection to actually the question put to people?
Well, if we had enough time, if we were going to have breakfast together tomorrow, I could really get into the detail. But let me just pick out a couple of major points. One is that the whole trend of history at the moment is to greater cooperation, to joining together so that the major economic and security problems of our world can be better addressed. We have the United States of America, we have a China. Now this is going to be the Chinese century, very powerful and very influential. And the European nations really therefore need to be working together. And as a bloc, of course, they have a very great deal of economic heft, and they also have a lot of soft power and influence in the world. This is a very good thing. So as one of the larger economies in the EU, the UK can continue to exert influence and have a major role to play in world affairs. As a little single offshore island by itself, it's going to have much, much less influence. I mean, at the moment, the UK sits on the Security Council at the UN. It's part of the G7. As the country diminishes and the economy grows smaller, as it inevitably will, it will cease to be part of those things. And so as a player on the world stage, it will have much less of a role. Well, maybe that's desirable, maybe that's what some people want. But the consequences for the country itself, especially from the point of view of a diminished economy, means that everything, the health service, the security considerations, our educational provision, everything will suffer as a result. It's a smaller, a more minor, very, very much retrenched kind of position that the UK will have, and the opportunities therefore for people in the UK to have a role in wider affairs is accordingly diminished.
Yes, but part of the argument for Brexit has been the grievances that people have. Arguments that the people of Britain have lost the sovereignty. They have decisions are made by unelected bureaucrats at far away, places like Brussels, and there's no accountability. And that's been one of the driving force of the Brexit campaign. What do you say to that?
Well, all those slogans about getting back control, regaining sovereignty, having faceless, unelected bureaucrats in Brussels running the country are all a very, very great deal of nonsense. Firstly, if people were more active and more interested in what's happening in Europe, they would take much, much more of a role in electing our MEPs, in keeping abreast of the news about what Europe is doing, understanding the nature of the European institutions, because Europe is not an undemocratic order at all. The very low turnouts that there are in European parliamentary elections this country shows a function of ignorance and indifference to what's going on in Europe. You can't blame Europe for allegedly being undemocratic if we don't take a full part in it. The idea of sovereignty is a lot of hot air, really. In a world in which we have to be connected, the World Trade Organization, NATO, all our bilateral arrangements with other countries, diplomacy, membership of international organizations, no country, not even the United States of America, not even the People's Republic of China, are sovereign. We are constrained by all these relationships in the world. So instead of fighting against them, we should be making best use of them. We should be seeing that there are huge advantages to giving up some of our so-called sovereignty in order to be in partnerships that are of real use to us.
And the recognition that the people who have campaigned for Brexit, the politicians who've led that, they have argued that they are the voice of the little people. People who have grievances. There might be element of truth in that. There are grievances that people have, and had us the Leave Remain campaign, people who advocate cooperation and solidarity across Europe, deal with those grievances, so to stop the Brexit has taken advantage of those grievances.
Well, of course, there are always grievances because there are always problems, both nationally and internationally. And in the case of the grievances felt by some people who voted for leave, we think about two kinds. There were anxieties about immigration, levels of immigration, and there were also feelings of resentment and hostility arising from the fact that inequality in our society has grown dramatically in recent years, especially since 2008 financial crash, but maybe for a much longer period too. On the left in politics, the populist sentiment tends to be about inequality and injustice in society, and it certainly exists. It's not the fault of Europe. It's the fault of our own internal policies and of the economic situation here and globally. On the right, the kind of populism is aroused by immigration and fears about immigrants and hostility towards immigrants, much inflamed, of course, by our very irresponsible tabloid newspapers that we have in this country. On that front, on the immigration front, people just need to be educated, really, because we need our immigrants. Our immigrants are great contributors to our society. The facts and figures are now out that immigrants in the UK population are actually net contributors to the country's economy, to its creativity, to its wealth base, to its life and flourishing. Look at the National Health Service. People talk about the National Health Service being burdened by immigrants. It's run by immigrants. If you have an accident on the way home today, which I certainly hope you won't, you'll probably be looked after by a wonderfully highly trained doctor from Syria or from somewhere else in the world, or India or something like that. On the first problem about inequality and injustice in society, this is a perennial. It is a real problem, but it is a very bad mistake, in fact, to blame it on the EU. On the contrary, EU labour laws and protections for people in employment are much greater and much better than they would be if we were outside the EU and we had the kind of capitalism that people run in the United States of America, where protection for workers and employee rights and so on are very, very much less than they are here. So this is a systematic error. This is the result of a propaganda against the EU, which completely misses the point about the great deal of social progress that's made in the EU, and the way that EU attitudes towards the economy and to workers and to the rights that people have are so misunderstood in the UK.
As we speak, the Supreme Court is considering government appeal on the right of Parliament to decide on Brexit and the articles and details of those. Can we just leave it to the Parliament, or what do people need to do? People who actually want to recognise there are problems and recognise that they need to stop Brexit, and they object to the whole process. What do they need to do? Can we just leave it to Parliament?
We should be leaving it to Parliament, but we should also be watchful about Parliament. I mean, I think the one thing that has happened with representative democracy is that people have become lazy and inattentive about how it operates. This is how you can get such a tsunami of ignorance about what MPs are, what they should do, what their responsibilities are. Because if you think about it, if you had daily referendums, supposing you had a proposition put up on your television screen every morning about a different matter, and people had to vote with their television buttons. Well, one result would be there would be people, dead bodies, corpses hanging from lampposts, okay, because, unreflective attitudes in society can sometimes be very, very sharp, very brutal. But in a very short time, hardly anybody would be taking part in these referendums because they'd be bored by them, and you get 2 or 3% of the country voting on everything. This is why we have representative democracy, because it acts as a kind of filter against emotional first impression type responses which have not been very well thought through, or which are not informed. I mean, look, most of us have got our jobs to look after, our families, our social lives. We don't want to spend every day thinking about policy matters and legislation and what we're going to do about the economy. We send people to Parliament to do this job for us. If they do a good job, we might re-elect them. If they don't do a good job, then we call them back. That's the ultimate control that the electorate has over the government of the day. We've allowed ourselves to be seduced by the very poor electoral system we have in the United Kingdom, which is that it's first past the post. This means that most of the MPs sitting in Parliament today were only elected on about 35% of the electorate in their constituencies. And so they've come to think that that's enough for democracy. Of course it isn't. If we had a much better system of general election voting procedures, then we would be much more conscious of the fact that it takes a genuine, a substantial vote to give anybody a mandate. But we've become used to that in general election terms, and now we see it applied in the case of a referendum, which is a very, very different thing from a general election, much more significant, much more consequential, and a third of the of the electorate have voted a certain way, and the government are acting as if it was a massive majority of 60 or 70% with an absolute binding mandate on them that they've got to go ahead and do this. And that's not the case. Everybody who has any kind of interest in or knowledge of the European Union, and that includes the majority of our MPs, knows that the Brexit decision is a disaster for the country, and that is why Parliament should be taking a grip and stopping it. I need to say one more little thing, if I may. This whole debate about Europe overlooks the fact that the idea of European culture, of the peace, of the progress, of the working together, the cooperation in Europe, the building of something which is incredibly valuable, based on all these rich traditions that we share across Europe. This is something that we should be getting people to understand and to realize and to embrace. This is a wonderful part of the world. It has wonderful traditions in it, and we've overcome the terrible historical deficit of too many wars in Europe. The great success of peace in Europe is a really striking fact. And I love the idea of being part of something, of belonging to something which has in it Goethe and Beethoven and René Descartes and Immanuel Kant and George Eliot and Dickens and Shakespeare. They're all part of the same great story, and that is the story that we should all be supporting.
Anthony Grayling, pleasure as usual. Thank you very much for coming back to Bread and Roses.
فتوای احمقانه این هفته از مالزی است و یه چیزی به اسم ماما پراید یا افتخار مادر.
اگه فکر میکنین که جمهوری اسلامی داعش اختصاص و متخصص تنها کسایی هستن که تولید ماشین
اشتباه میکنین.
فتوای احمقانه میکنن، واقعا اشتباه میکنن. تو مالزی هم فکر کنم اینا هم شروع کردن.
نه ولی خیلی جالب اینجاست که یه نمایشگاه بین المللی دارن، معلوم نیست طالبان و کی میره اونجا، در رابطه با ایده ها و تولیدات جدید که منطبق با شریعت و یه چیزی درست کردن به اسم افتخار مادر. و این چیه دقیقاً؟
یه دونه چیز درست کردن که موقع زایمان اگه مثلا درد داری اشکال نداره، بچه سالم باشه اشکال نداره. موضوع اسلامیان در نگران چی هن؟ عورتت پوشیده باشه. یه دونه دریچه گذاشتن رو شلوار که موقع زایمان این دریچه رو باز میکنن، بچه میاد بیرون، تا بچه میاد دریچه رو میبرن، کسی عورت خانمی رو که داره زایمان میکنه رو نبینن.
و خیلی جالبه که گروهایی تو مالزی گفتن که این شرکت داره سعی میکنه پول در بیاره، سود در بیاره از اسلام سیاسی در مالزی و گروه های زنان هستن در افغانستان که گفتن این واقعا مسخره است، ولی خود شرکت گفته که خیلی تشویق دیده در رابطه با این مسئله. معلوم نیست داعش، طالبان، شاید جمهوری اسلامی چند تا سفارش داده.
احتمالاً سعی کنن تو ایران، ولی تو ایران به کار نمیاد چون مردم
احمقانه. لحظه زیبای زندگی این هفته از یک زنی با واقعا صدای زیبا در یک مسجد در شیراز.
خیلی جالب، صدای زن توی اسلام حرامه شنیدنش و این آخوندهای مناطق منتقل و متفاوت ایران ولایت‌های خودشون وقتی یه گروه کنسرت بده یه زن توش باشه سر میریزن، حزب اللهیا و انصار حزب الله میریزن به هم میریزن و این صدای زیبای زن صدای جامعه ایرانه، صدای مردم ایرانه،
صدای انسانیته.
آره و در واقع این رو با هم ببینیم. ولی قبل از که این صدای زیبا رو با هم بشنویم ما به پایان برنامه رسیدیم. از من و از طرف مریم نمازی تا هفته آینده
به امید دیدار. بای.
دست دیده بود هر دو
Hi, I'm مریم نمازی.
And I'm فريبرز پويا.
We're hosting a program called Bread and Roses. It's a weekly program that's broadcast in Persian and English in the Middle East and North Africa, primarily Iran as well. And it's also shown on YouTube internationally.
And we've been doing this since last May. We're coming up to our year's anniversary, and we've had quite a lot of fun making these videos.
We discuss taboo-breaking, free-thinking ideas. The Islamic regime of Iran has called us immoral and corrupt.
And that's why you need to support us. We are the alternative voice in Middle East and North Africa.
Of corruption and immorality. So do support us. Here's a short video from Patreon that explains how you can help us with even just $1 a week. That's nothing. Support us.
Patreon lets fans become patrons of their favorite artists and content creators. It's different than Kickstarter because it's not about one big project that requires lots of funding. It's more for bloggers or YouTubers or webcomics, anyone who creates on a regular basis. Here's how it works. When you become a patron, you're agreeing to give an artist a tip of an amount you set every time they release a piece of content, whether it's a new song, a video, or a recipe. You can set a monthly maximum to make sure that you're always within your budget. Choose an amount, enter your payment information, and you're done. Becoming a patron allows you to view and post in the artist's stream, and in exchange for your support, artists offer additional patron packages, which might include monthly Google Hangouts, music production tutorials, pre-sale concert tickets, or anything they can offer as a way to say thanks. Patreon, empowering a new generation of content creators.